Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to the official Level 2 podcast, episode 47. My name's Keegan, one half Level 2 Gamers, hanging out with Bangers and Mash himself. Good old Tom Miles. How you doing today, Tom?
I'm good, man. Aside from the fact you keep calling me that, I'm good.
Yeah, every day, every week. Well, except for last week, because I forgot.
Yep.
It's every week that I do it.
I'm going to think of something way worse for you at one point.
Yeah. Those of you who don't know what the Level 2 podcast is, this is kind of where we just hang out and I pick a topic, he picks a topic, we play a game in the middle. Today we're going to play Name That Game again because it's my favorite one for you, and I've got a good one, and if you don't get it, I'm going to be real upset at you.
Last one.
You did. But I do want to start off by saying my topic is a very serious one and gaming related at the same time. So I'm just going to jump right in.
Go ahead.
So those of you who may or may not follow IGN or may or may not have heard, Callie Plagge, who is a former IGN, I believe, editor, I don't remember her position exactly, came out and said she was sexually harassed from a former other IGNer. And I'm going to read both Callie's statement that she posted to Twitter, Vincent Genito, who's the man accused of this, his response. I'm then going to read Alana Pierce, who is currently at IGN. She kind of was the voice of people at IGN before IGN released a statement. I'm then going to read the statement from the IGN team, and then there's an email that was sent out today, it's on Tuesday, from the IGN general manager, executive vice president, given to Kotaku.
Okay.
So, are you aware of the situation at all, Tom? I'm assuming you've heard about it.
I know bits and pieces. I know that the girl came out and said that she had been sexually harassed to some extent. I don't know exactly what, why, when, or where.
Okay.
I know that the guy put out a pretty heartfelt, hey, this isn't how I perceived it to be type thing. I think it's just really interesting right now how sexual harassment has become such as a moment of zeitgeist in the culture right now, with so many things.
The Me Too.
Weinstein, and with the Me Too thing, and with obviously our president, and then you have Louis C.K. and just all this kind of stuff going on. So yeah, I mean
And this is not me. We're not here to judge either parties. We're not here to condemn Vince and say he's guilty because he's innocent until proven guilty. We're not here to say blame the victim. She should have hung out with better people, because I don't think that's right to say either. I just want to give you guys the facts of everything, kind of a roundup of everything that's been said, so you can make your judgment for yourself from there. But this is Callie Plagge. She released this a few days ago now, and this is all quoted from her. "I can't swallow my anger any longer. The silence physically hurts. In 2016, while I was working at IGN, a former IGN editor, Vince Genito, sexually harassed me and one other female employee for months. She never states who the other person is because she doesn't want to hurt her identity."
I think the other lady came out after. His name was Chloe or something like that.
I don't. Yeah, I never saw the name.
She said
so.
I was the other girl.
Yeah,
it was
I never.
Twitter thing. Yeah.
Go. Cool. The harassment in my case included uncomfortable compliments, guys don't like skinny girls, you're perfect, manipulative and abusive comments, the guys he assumed I was dating are all boys, you need a real man, and overly sexual comments, when I was your age, I could go all night, he put his hand on my arm, I just want one more night like that. After I reported him in June 2016, HR and upper management told me I needed to have better judgment about who I was friends with, and that's in quotes, making me out to be an equal participant in inappropriate flirtation. My boss told me to not be uptight about being around Vince and stated on several occasions that he just wanted this unpleasantness to be over. HR insinuated to me that I used my body, specifically my chest, to provoke him. I was asked who I danced with at the IGN E3 party. This was a man who preyed on me, a young woman 15 years his junior, by identifying my insecurities at work, specifically regarding my recognition for my work, and manipulating my trust. I was made to sign a document stating that I behaved inappropriately on the condition that I'd be fired if it happened again. I was forced to work with Vince for another 6 months until I left IGN for my current job, which is now at GameSpot. I spent the entirety of those months sick with anxiety, literally to the point of severe nausea every day. I was terrified of further retaliation should I say anything. The harassment and horrible mishandled HR investigation was a major factor in my leaving IGN. I have carried the disgust, fear, and disrespect with me since. To my knowledge, Vince was, quote, talked to and basically told not to speak to me, though he continued to walk near my desk, ask me work questions in person, and sit near me in meetings when management was not around. Nothing was done until after I quit, and even then IGN parted with him on good terms. Now, as more and more victims and survivors come forward with these stories, the sick feeling in my stomach has returned. I have a great job with a team that respects me and my values. I am safe, I am loved, but I still feel sick. This is not about the harassment. It's also about the victim blaming and negative impact on my job as a result. This is a structural problem. To my friends at IGN who stood by me through those months and beyond, I love you. To Sam in particular, and I'm going to assume that's, I can't remember his last name, Sam Claiborne, I'm going to guess, who hung out with her a lot on the Nintendo side of things. To Sam in particular, thank you for sincerely doing all you could to help me with what you were given. You've all shown me support, and I worry about how this statement will affect you all. But I just can't stay quiet anymore. I hope speaking up will help me heal, as well as others like me. Thank you for listening to me, Callie. So that's pretty deep. It sounds like, to me, the way I interpret that is she's obviously upset at Vince for what she perceives happened. She's also extremely upset with how it was handled, and I think that's the biggest thing in the story.
She's almost more upset with how it was handled than what actually happened to me. It sounds like, because I mean, a lot of the things that she's saying, I could see those being uncomfortable things, but at the same point, I think that it almost seems like she's going more cylinders towards the
IGN handled it wrong, yes,
than the actual the situation itself.
So this is Vince Ingenito's response on Twitter. The things being said about me by Callie Plaguey. This will likely be long. The first thing I want to say is that I don't believe Callie Plaguey is a liar. We were friends once, at least I thought. I considered her one of my only friends at IGN. I'm waiting for this to load here. What I believe is that I overestimated or perhaps misread the degree of our friendship. She would share very personal things with me looking for advice and support, and I thought I could do the same. As it turns out, she thought of me more as a mentor than a friend. So when I say I do not believe she is a liar, I mean to say I believe she felt uncomfortable with our level of friendship, but being younger, perhaps was scared to say so. I have no desire to embarrass her or myself by sharing screens of every conversation we had as proof. There are legal limits to what I am allowed to say about the allegations she made against me or the investigation that resulted. What I can say is that just prior to her making a complaint, I was told by a mutual friend and then had it confirmed by Callie that she had felt uncomfortable about the nature of our friendship. As soon as I learned this, I texted her an apology, told her I had no idea how I had made her uncomfortable, but that it didn't matter how. I was simply sorry to have made her uneasy. I have screen grabs of our final exchange uploading to Twitter. You can find them. It's at Vince Ingenito, in which I made this apology and in which she thanked me for acknowledging her feelings and need for space. She wouldn't tell me what I had done, which is fine, but we left it at that. A week later, the accusation came. I complied fully, though I was never told exactly what I specifically done to make her uncomfortable. I handed over my phone and screen grabs of nearly every conversation we'd had in the prior months. I had said I was willing to do whatever I had to do to make her comfortable. After almost 2 weeks of working from home, a resolution was reached, and I was found to not have harassed her. I was asked to change seats to make her more comfortable, and I was happy to comply. We were both told to keep correspondence strictly work, which I did. From that point on, I kept as far away from her as I could. Since I had no idea what exactly I had done, I didn't want to risk upsetting her further. I spoke to her in person for work-related issues once or twice, and by email several times in the month until she left IGN. Despite not knowing what I
Despite not knowing how.
How I might have hurt her, I was racked by guilt and fear. Inevitably, we'd pass in the hall, or we'd have to be in a meeting together, and I'd try to stay as far as reasonably could. Again, I consider her a friend, and I felt badly for the whole thing. All of this being said, I want to make something abundantly clear. I never touched Callie in a sexual way, unless you think the occasional hug is sexual. I never said anything lewd about her or her body. I never made any advances toward her. Nothing. The only talk of any sexual nature that occurred would be when she voluntarily shared things about of a personal nature to me, as friends sometimes do. I didn't graphically describe anything or force sexual conversation on her or anyone. This is not who I am or who I will ever be. I understand this will be emotional for many. All I can ask is, please, whoever you believe, do not go piling on her. She doesn't deserve that. No one does. This is a very sad, tense, terrible thing for her, I'm sure, as it was for me. Be respectful, please. I've said about as much as I legally can or care to. Once I get these images on my apology in the last text exchange up, I will post it for posterity, and that will be all. Since all of this has rocked my life and hers, I thought long and hard on what perhaps I might take away from this to make sure I both protect myself and never inadvertently make someone I respect or care about feel so awful. I hold myself to a high standard and will continue to. I hope Callie and I can both find peace and healing. With one final note, I want to say that no matter who you believe, no one has the implicit right to trample anyone's boundaries. Be yourself, and if someone tells you you've hurt them, apologize and be better. That's all I've got. I believe that's the end of this thread, and then he posts the pictures at the end here. So that's Vince's response to her allegations. So his perspective is, yes, I'm aware. There was an investigation. There was a thing that happened, but I was not aware of the specifics of what had happened. And this is always a he said, she said type thing. I've always under the impression that there's always three sides to any story. There's side A, side B, and side C, which is a combination of A and B. So that's his response.
It's interesting. I think from judging from that, obviously that's pretty genuine as far as responses go. I mean, if you look at, again, as an example, like Louis C.K. was very just kind of like, yeah, I did it, sorry. Yep. But that was very kind of like, oh my God, I don't actually think I was expecting her to feel like that. I could see it happening from both angles. I could see it being a misperceived communication from both people. I can see it. I mean, the thing is that you can't tell someone what upsets them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when I had a conversation, not to cut you off, but I had a conversation with my mom yesterday about this, because it's all going on, and it's like, I'm sure I've said some lewd and crude things, and I don't know if somebody's been offended by it. I mean, that's just how I am. And I mean, I've had people come to me and said they weren't comfortable, and then you're like, I'm sorry, like you back off type thing. Yeah. But I love my mom to death because of this quote. Exactly. She goes, I'd have to worry about you sexually harassing or raping somebody. You're not that type of guy. And I was like, thank you. I love you, Mom. So not to make light of it, but I love that was the phrase she said. But anyways, what were you saying? No, sorry. Yeah. I was just saying, like, you know, obviously, like, a lot of what's going on in the bigger, wider industry, and you know what? Full stop. Like, everywhere. Yes. There is male dominated. Everywhere is there are women that probably feel uncomfortable with the way that men act towards them. But as well, on the flip side of that coin, you do have a lot of people that do perhaps think that they do have a different type of relationship with someone and don't realize that that's what's happening. There are plenty of people, male and female, that I feel close to, that I will joke around with, and I'm filthy because I'm English. And me being one of them. Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's like, you know, I don't, like, if I make a joke about something horrible that would probably offend someone, like, you know, I'm an atheist, so I make a lot of Jesus jokes. So if I make a joke like that, like, I just do it because it just comes out, and I don't necessarily consider the feelings and thoughts of those around me when I make those jokes. So I totally get like how things can be misconstrued. Thank you. But also it's always serious. It's always like, I think women put up with this shit so much that we're almost numb to it. We don't consider that, like, this makes people uncomfortable. And funnily enough, it was Louis C.K. himself that made a joke once about why women are so scared of men. It's because, like, you know, when men walk by women, they just see them as another person. But when women walk by men, they see it as someone that could easily overpower them. And, you know, it's like walking by tigers in the street every time they do it. So, like, there's this kind of perspective issue as well of being, like, the more kind of cruel species or sex, I would say, of the species. But yeah, it's all fucking bizarre. But yes, please continue with the other.
So this is Alana Pierce, who is, she just got a promotion, but she was the toys and games editor for IGN for a little while, and she's now host of the Daily Fix since Naomi Kyle left. There won't be a Daily Fix today because a large group of IGN employees have refused to work until the company issues a statement/apology regarding what happened to Callie Plaguey. This obviously exploded on Twitter because people had opinions, like the internet does. A lot of it, for the most part, from
a big company.
Yes,
IGN, like it's in the
they are the biggest news company.
Yeah,
they are, like, when we talk size of staff, they are the biggest game news company. What I found really, really cool, though, because I'm not going to read any of the Twitter comments because they get nasty, but the gaming personalities, the big guys, that the verified people that you know and the names you know, have come out, and a lot of them have supported IGN, because a lot of this, in my opinion, the backlash is not, I mean, I don't want to downplay what happened because it shouldn't have happened, but I think the biggest backlash is how it was handled. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
That seems to be the most upsetting part of it for
yes.
At least for Callie. But I mean, I can't.
She probably is upset.
Obviously,
that it happened.
If she felt like she was being, harassed in any way, that's fucking devastating.
Yes.
But I think that the fact that she was, and then
that was the response.
One was kind of giving her,
made her sign a paper saying she was part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I could see that.
So that was her response. IGN team released a statement, and I've got to make sure I quote or I get this right. Note, please know this statement has been written by the IGN content team, not by management or legal or anyone else. So this is the Alana Pierces, this is Brian Altano's, this is the people that we see a lot of times. Yeah, those type of people. It's not legal speak. It's not the corporation trying to protect themselves.
Right.
That will come later, I think. I hope. I swear that'd be awesome if it did. This is, again, quote, "To the gaming and entertainment community, it is with great sadness, pain, and regret that we tell you that IGN has failed 2 of its female employees, 1 former and 1 current, both of whom the team cares deeply about. We are devastated that 2 of our own have had to live and carry with this pain for more than a year. When the women made management and human resources aware of the situation involving now former employee, those women in the estimation of the IGN team did not get the respect and care that they deserved as IGN employees and as people. The system, plainly put, failed them. It especially failed them, but it also failed all of us. All of us who have been wounded deeply by this, though again, our suffering is nothing compared to those of our 2 beloved friends. And this morning, we addressed the open wound directly with our management team and human resources representative in an emotional, difficult, but ultimately productive 2-hour meeting where any and all voices were heard. We care deeply about what we do. We hope our passion for video games and entertainment shines through in our articles, videos, podcasts every day. But we care more deeply about each other. We will continue to fight to make this right for the past, present, and certainly the future. Any future allegations will be taken extremely seriously, and we are actively working to ensure that everyone on our team feels like they work in a safe environment. We will not tolerate the exclusion or mistreatment of any people. The human resources representative who oversaw the situation originally is no longer with the company, and our current HR rep has been transparent and willing to listen to ideas and suggestions on how to create a better work environment going forward. We are aware of the influence that IGN has in the gaming industry and entertainment community, and we will utilize that to the best of our abilities going forward. We will continue to challenge our management and human resources teams to fix what is broken, because if we can't or we don't, then IGN will no longer be a place we're proud to call home. As content creators, entertainment consumers, and gamers, sincerely, the IGN team." So again, I love this. I love the fact that this was not a lawyer. This was not somebody coming out. This is the team saying, this is how we feel. And could you imagine a company allowing you to do that? Because this is throwing basically shade at the company. This is saying, hey, we're strongly disagreeing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that it's quite surprising.
And this is on their website.
They go after the company, but something about that. I mean, they had a 2-hour meeting, right, to talk about all of this, and then this is what they release, which obviously they've been told they're allowed to release, because it's not like the content creation team can just put this up without an okay
Correct.
by someone in legal.
Yeah, and in the Twitter exchange, Alana did say that their upper management, so the people who own IGN, because IGN's owned by, I think it's Ziff Davis, so the people at IGN, the upper management, are okay with having this discussion.
Yeah.
I think the question is going to be then the next layer up, how they handle it.
Yeah, but it's like you said, it's interesting that they allowed it to.
I applaud them.
To be put as
I think it's great.
I think it's great. I also think that it's the voice that people wanted to hear from IGN on the topic was from the other content creators.
Yes.
I don't think anyone gave a shit about what the legal team.
If a legal team came out and said,
situation.
"Hey,
it's good to hear that whoever was at HR that kind of fluffed the whole thing up is gone now, and that they have a HR rep that is going to be there to protect any of the staff members that feel uncomfortable or
in IGN, it's really interesting with IGN is if you look at their staff. Obviously, I don't work there, and I've not been inside their building. But just from the on-air staff, the diversity at that company is insane.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them. I mean, it's the same with any other company. You have a lot of males at the top. You have a lot of white males at the top. But with the content creators I watch, they all have come from different backgrounds, and they all seem, on air at least, get respected from each other. And I think it's really interesting to watch. It's definitely, people use the college dorm mentality of like, you make the friends and you got your cliques. I definitely feel like IGN has their cliques like anything else, but this shows that they have each other's back. And I love that in a team, because we work jobs that we don't like, and what keeps you there is the people. And the fact that people will have your back in a situation like this, because this isn't, from Callie's perspective, this is probably not easy to put out, because she's doing two things. One, personal. She's putting herself out there to be attacked by the internet. And two, professional. What does this do for her if she ever decides to switch jobs?
Of all the fucking genres of things to be talking about, this in gaming is toxic as shit.
Yes.
So, I mean, we all saw Gamergate and what happened with that. So I think everyone needs to at least applaud Callie to some extent for being brave enough not only to speak out, but to speak out in the environment that she did, which is the gamer environment.
I love Callie. Like before all this happened.
Crushed very quickly by trolls.
I was very sad because I don't watch GameSpot, but I was very sad when she left.
Yeah.
Like, she was one, like, I used to watch the Nintendo Voice Chat, which is their Nintendo podcast, and she would be a rotating guest on there, and I loved her on there because she's very much like me, where she loves the childish like things. Me and her personality wise, when it comes to things we like, are very similar. So I love getting her opinions on that from a professional standpoint. So this last thing, and then we'll move on, is an email that IGN General Manager and Executive Vice President Mitch Galbraith sent to his staff, acquired from Kotaku. So Jason Schreier from Kotaku, who you probably know, or if you don't know, he's very big in investigative work in the gaming industry, got this. Much of the understanding and progress we made as a group today is summarized in this post from our content team, meaning the post that was put up before.
Post,
yes. It is clear that IGN can and must do better delivering on our commitment to a safe and harassment-free work environment for employees. I am taking the following steps to ensure we achieve our goals. First, I will enlist an independent expert to thoroughly examine how we handle the matter in question, and more broadly, all other important aspects of creating a healthy workplace. Second, I will turn the findings and recommendations of that review into specific actions that I will share with all of you, meaning coworkers. I will be accountable to you for delivering results. Third, I will work to give HR a stronger presence throughout IGN, including outside the San Francisco office. I'm not going to reiterate IGN's commitment to safe and harassment-free work environment. Instead, I'm going to work with all of you to prove it with our actions and results from here on out. This is about the best thing you can release, because you can't be like what are you gonna say in an instance like this? And it's the proof is gonna be in the pudding down the road. How we're not gonna know tomorrow what's gonna happen. We're gonna know maybe not even probably a year or so from now.
It's interesting,
who knows?
the difference from the reaction to this story to the ones from, do you remember Upload VR, the scandal there, where they had literally had like sex rooms and all kinds of stuff that was obviously a lot further along than arm touching or whatever was going on with Callie and Vincent. But But yeah, it's I think the content team did the right thing. I think he definitely did the right thing by backing it up and also saying, I'm not just going to sit here and say the same thing because that's obvious. We actually need to put together something to make
we need to put an
better for
action
the future.
plan.
And it seems like they're genuine enough about it. So, it's a sad situation all around. It's sad for Callie. It's sad for the secondary girl, which I think they did post who it was.
I never saw the name.
And it's sad for the other people as well, because to some extent I kind of believe Vince that he didn't think he was doing anything wrong, but it is also easy to be oblivious to how your actions and words may make someone feel. And like I said, you can't tell someone what they can be upset about. Like, you can't make a joke about someone and then be like, oh, why are you upset about that? Like, it's up to a person to decide what offends them. And in this case, clearly something was very wrong, and we will never know the exact details of it, because like you said, it's probably somewhere gray in between both of the comments. But I think they handled it relatively well, and I think the fallout should be minimal for this, and hopefully everyone gets a better workplace out of it. So,
I am going to read one comment at the bottom of this Kotaku article, because this is kind of looking into the future. The Weary Ludite is this person's name, commented, Ludite. Props for reporting on this. I wouldn't have heard about it otherwise. It's good to see that most industries are pulling back the shades on sexual harassment and assault right now. Jason Schreier, who wrote the article, responded with this. Yes, the floodgates have opened and the stories are coming out. We haven't heard as many of them in the video game industries yet, but they're coming. Kotaku is actively working on several investigations right now that will hopefully lead to more sexual harassments getting exposed. And of course, if anyone reading this has any stories to share or knows of anyone we should be looking into, please do hit me up. Confidentiality is guaranteed. I'm mixed on that, of him digging in and trying to find stuff, but like, if they approach you, fine, but it all depends on how that goes about. But there's going to be other things that happen. This is
sure.
This is like anything else.
The thing though, it's so incessant in society in general that it doesn't matter if it's the gaming arena or not. There will always be male dominated workplaces that make women feel uncomfortable. I think it probably happens in places we work. In fact, I know it has happened before. I think it happens in every
and it's shocking,
every part, and you never know. Yeah, you never know. That's the thing. Like, as a man, as a white man especially, like, I feel like, and I know it's part of the privilege that I endure, but I feel like so many things like this are just, I'm so oblivious to it. And it's because I don't have to think about it on a daily basis. I don't have to worry about things like that occurring to me on a daily basis, because I'm a white dude that can handle myself, and that's just never been a problem for me. So to think about not only the many problems that people of different races, sexual orientations, and creeds and stuff might have to go through, but then just something as simple as gender being like, you're instantly looked down upon, you're not paid as much, you have to deal with in some cases absolute boys clubs, and you feel like you're not able to,
and if you don't go with it, you're fired, or you go somewhere else because you're done and your career's dead.
That's what a lot of it about is, like, it's a power trip for guys, I think, to do this stuff, because it's almost like they're obviously trying to help the girl or whatever advance their career, but they're doing it in a way that is just highly inappropriate
and one of the things Callie did say, not in that statement, but again, I've gone through all the chats on it just to see if they followed up or anything. One of the things she did say, one of the reasons she was scared to come forward is because Vince was her mentor, and she was scared of what it would do for her career. And that's a legitimate thing. Like, you don't want to, and this is going to sound really bad with the way I say it, but you don't want to be known as a whistleblower, because nobody's going to hire you if you blow a whistle. But I think this is something the whistle needs to be blown on. Like,
but I think
that's the thing.
I think the thing about that, though, is that we're at a turning point now where the whole whistleblowing thing is like, well, everyone is blowing the whistle, and if anything, you're getting more respect for blowing the whistle. I think you're right. Like, back in the day, it was definitely like that's why she said she didn't do it at the time, because the kickback she's gotten a lot on the Twitter thread is,
if it's such a big deal, why didn't you do it at the time?
Yeah.
And this was only about a year ago. Yeah. So, because I remember her leaving, and well, I found out about her leaving when she posted on Twitter she was at GameSpot, and I was like, that's weird. And then I remember Vince leaving IGN. They never said why. Vince was like, hey, I'm no longer there. And to me, it was weird because he didn't have a job lined up. He was just gone. And that was where I was like, I knew something was up. Obviously, didn't expect this. I just assumed laid off, whatever it may be.
What a weird world that we live in nowadays.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like, since we are a gaming channel, it's very important to bring up because it is a talking point, and B, we are very much, and we don't hide it, an equal opportunity when it comes to things. Like, I don't want to toot our own horn because that's not what we're here for, but we do believe everybody should be treated equally. It doesn't matter what race, religion, gender, whatever it may be, however you identify yourself, should be treated the same, period. You're allowed to have your opinions on things. You're allowed to express your opinions or be offended by certain things and all that kind of stuff. But should be a mutual respect among everybody. Yeah. And that's like when we did the Upload VR one. Like you remember, I get heated on this kind of stuff because it is a passion point of mine.
It's especially sick in this industry for girls as well. I mean, like, the race stuff is prominent in the industry, like the fact that almost all protagonists in games are like white males or whatever. But,
or if they're black, they get boycotted.
Yeah, not boycotted, stereotyped, I think.
No.
Well,
they boycotted Watch Dogs too.
Star Wars as well, the movie. But yeah, like, obviously the racial stereotypes and things are there, but I think for girls it's especially hard because I mean, I know from looking at the analytics that we only have about 10% of our audience is female, which is great. We wish we
which is your wife and my mom.
We wish we could have more, but we also happen to know that gaming in general generally leans more towards 25 to 45-year-old white males, or just males in general, I suppose. So it's kind of interesting to sort of hear these demographics, and kind of like you almost expect it to the point, because we'll see it ourselves. I'm sidetracking here. I know it's our podcast. We do it every week. So, but you see it as well, because I complain about this a little bit, but it's kind of the way. It's a personal thing to me, but you see girl, or female, I should say, streamers and YouTubers and things like that do so well so quickly, purely based off the fact that they are female.
I wouldn't say it's purely based off the fact.
Not purely, maybe not 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
A lot of it is based on the fact that they're female. Like, they may be like a mediocre channel that will get far more attention based off the fact that the main person doing the show is a female, because guys are assholes. Like, they will, in a lot of instances, and this is my opinion, this is not representative of Keegan's opinion necessarily, but like for me personally, I feel like there's a lot of girl gamers that are not girl gamers, but there's a lot of female YouTubers and streamers and things like that get this attention from people that I'm sure they love and enjoy, and I think there is a lot of genuine love and affection for these people, but at the same time, a lot of it is just like lusty, like teenage hormones, or old people, or whatever. Like, I mean, we have many friends in the industry. We have female friends in the industry that are doing really, really well. Easily is a big one. And I mean, she said it herself. Like, there is obviously an influx of that. There is that attention does come, but a lot of it is quite genuine, and it's quite just kind of like, I like this person for this reason.
I can tell you, I mean, I used to mod for One Shot Girl, and at the time she was about 100,000 subs. She's like 200 and something thousand now. And one of the things we did as mods was, my job was to basically pick out assholes. Like, she had rules that you had to follow by and all this kind of stuff, like emoji spams, all that kind of stuff. But the one thing I was looking for was those sexual comments of different things, and it just it amazed me. Like, it shouldn't have, but it did. How many people, like, we would sit there during one of her streams, and you literally every 5 to 10 seconds you had to block or delete or whatever.
And it's not their fault. That's the other point worth making, is this is not the fault of the content creator that this is happening. It's just the way that gaming is. Yeah. It just sort of stacks
I do think some people provoke it based on how they dress and how they appear, but I also do think there are females that will disagree, and I know for a fact Geek Etiquette is one of those. I've had great conversations with her about similar topic to this, where she doesn't want to be the stereotype girl gamer. She's like, I'm a girl who plays video games. That's how you should look at me.
Yeah.
Not because I've got boobs
and I
you should watch.
absolutely wish that that's the way that it was. That's just not the way that it is, though. And I think that of all people, Geek Etiquette actually has solid content. She's really wonderful. And easily, and all the people that One Shot Girl, like all those ladies are great at what they do. But
Silver Fox.
Yeah,
I have mad respect for her. The fact that she went through cancer and all that shit,
Yeah.
like I have mad respect for her. I think she just went full-time streaming.
But they deserve the attention they get. I'm not saying that for a second that they don't deserve it. I'm just saying that they get extra attention from these creeper assholes that are purely there for that reason.
For weird reasons.
So it's almost like weird that in like our kind of, I don't want to say industry, but whatever we do, like being male is a hindrance in some ways. It's, I don't know, it's weird. I don't want to say it like that because I guess that's not really a hindrance, but it feels sometimes like you work really hard to bring the best content you can out, and sometimes just like you said, some girl just that's put on a low cut top will get
or
like
cosplay.
30,
I mean, not that there's anything wrong with cosplay, but skimpy cosplay. Like one of the things I really love, and this is before we move on, I want to make this kind of point is Thousand Faces cosplay. We are friends with both Lauren and Ethan. Wonderful. One of the things I love about them, and they're very vocal about, is just because you're in your costume doesn't give you consent.
Right.
Like, I love that stance they have, because let's be honest, there are creepers that happen, and it's not just gaming, it's every industry, it's everywhere in the world. But the stereotype for a nerd is this lonely middle-aged man that doesn't have a wife, doesn't have a girlfriend, lives in his mom's basement. Like, that's the stereotype. Whether it's true or not varies to different degree, obviously, from person to person. But there was one moment, I think I told you this when we were at PopCon, when we were waiting to interview Charlotte Chung. This guy, I won't say who he works for, he was at a booth next to us. There's this lady that walked by, was in Spider-Woman costume, and her Spider-Woman costume was, let's just say, revealing. I could see both their butt cheeks hanging out, and more power to her to do that. Like, great.
It was a thong. She was wearing a thong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, more power to do that. But, like, I'm not one of those people that's just going to stare. Like, I'm a dude. You look. Everybody looks. Like, let's be honest. Everybody looks, but I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, baby. This guy, you didn't see it because you were facing Charlotte. I was facing towards the floor, the show floor. This guy walked by, stopped, looked, stared for, like, I want to say probably 15 seconds type thing. Like, it's one of those things that, like, I caught it. Like, it caught my attention. He walked by, comes back, sits down, does his thing, and then walked back and pretended to be on his phone while taking a photo.
Yeah.
That is wrong. And one of the things I really loved, like, we had the opportunity to hang out with Lauren as Harley Quinn. And one of the things I loved about her and getting to know her as the person behind the cosplayer is after we finished her dance with milkshakes, that's a weird phrase to say, at Indie PopCon, she came up to us and she said, I thought I had no shame. And my first reaction was, I won't post anything you're uncomfortable with. Like, you're doing this as a favor to us. I don't want to, because she's a good looking female. Ethan can agree. Right, Ethan, if you're watching? But I don't want to post it just because she's a good-looking female and she's going to get a lot of views. Same thing with the whole Sarah VR thing. Like, we knew that was going to do well because of the demographics. You don't want to exploit that, though. You don't want to, like, Sarah was a friend of ours. She was a little weary. And I told her, I was like, you had to have known what was going to happen with that. And she became cool with it afterwards. But it was one of those things where whenever we work with somebody, whether it's female or with Jake, when we're talking about homosexuality in gaming, that kind of thing, like, we don't do it because we want to get the clicks from those. We do it because we want to get an understanding of their perspective. Yeah. And I want that to be abundantly clear. And I don't want to say I'm the white knight in shining armor, because we all have our flaws. Yeah. But there is a different perspective when you're doing certain things and how you approach why you're doing those things. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say on that.
You know, it was funny that Ethan was even saying that sometimes he gets it worse because, like, she usually is at least fully clothed.
Yeah, he doesn't have,
he's like shirtless. Topless or whatever, so you'll have girls like groping on him and stuff, and I'm just like, that's
weird.
It's so weird. Like, and the cosplay culture is a whole other thing. But
I love both of those guys to death.
And I was telling you, like, I watched that Tokyo Idol documentary about it's like 40-year-old guys that just spend all of their money on these like 19-year-old singers and just like taking doing a handshake sessions with them where all they have to do is hold their hand. But to people in Japan, that is a really sexual gesture. So it was kind of like, it's very weird. It's a very weird subculture. But all of that aside, yeah, I mean, it's a weird story. I'm happy that a lot of this bullshit is coming to light. It's obvious it's been going on. And it's kind of nice that people are finally feeling comfortable enough to stand up and say, hey, this needs to stop because it's making a lot of people uncomfortable. But yeah, it's we stand for truth, justice, and equality regardless of where you are in that.
And we tend to not get we intentionally don't get very political on the show a lot. We used to quite a bit.
Yeah.
Anymore, just because that's not what you guys are here for. But I felt like this was one of those things, it's the elephant in the room we had to talk about. So I wanted to just kind of, I wanted to lay out what happened, the information we have, and let you guys make your judgment for yourselves from there. But I want to make sure you guys have the information in one place. That being said, let's move on. It's going to be a weird, awkward transition to something fun. Let's play a game. Let's play a game called What's That Game? Or whatever the hell we called it. What do we call it?
That game.
There we go. That thing. Let me pull up my
favorite game
my
to
link
play?
here.
And my least favorite to participate in because I suck at it.
So let me get this pulled up here.
So I'll explain what you're doing while you're doing it. Name That Game is a game that we play where one of us will choose, in this case it's Keegan, a game for the other person to guess. And the way that we play is that I am only allowed to ask closed questions about the game. Closed questions are questions that require a solitary answer, either a yes or a no, or something that is like is absolutely 100% factual with a very quick answer, like what color is their shirt? Red. That type of thing. So there's no room for finagling around it. It's a very simple, straightforward answer. And the only rule that I'm not allowed to ask, and the question I'm not allowed to ask, is the question, what genre is it? Because that is too much of a giveaway. Outside of that, I can ask whatever I want to, except for what game is it?
Yes,
and I have 20 questions in which to guess that game, and that's basically Name That Game. So we want you guys to play along at home, of course. Obviously, you don't get to ask questions, so I'm asking on your behalf. Sorry for the questions that I'm going to ask. But can you get the answers to these questions and find the game faster than I can, or at all in this instance? But go ahead, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, you're asking the questions. I'm ready. Question number 1.
Okay. My favorite first opening question, as always, is what console did it release on first and subsequently?
It is PS2
Okay.
only.
Only been released on the PS2.
Only PS2.
Feel confident already? Feel confident? Had lots of
I
PS2.
found something in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, lots of PS2 experience. All right. Let's see here.
Question number 2.
Question number 2. Is the main protagonist male, female, or animal? Or something else, I guess.
The main
Is there a male?
The main protagonist is male.
Okay.
Question number 3.
What is their weapon? If they have a weapon.
They do have weapons. I'm gonna have to get back to you on. I mean, they use guns of various varieties, the most common one, but they can go hand-to-hand combat as well. But guns is what you would picture with them.
Guns and hand-to-hand.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So no, like, archery or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is the game first or third person?
It is, I believe it is third person. Let me double check.
Have you not played this game?
No, I have. It's been a while, though.
Okay.
There's a hint for you. It is third person.
Third person.
Third person. That's what I thought it was. Couldn't remember.
Third person.
Question number 5.
PS2. Is it a part of a series?
I do believe there was. No.
No series?
No series.
Standalone?
It was a standalone game.
Oh, that makes it.
Question number 6.
Makes it a little bit harder. Is it based off any kind of other franchise?
No.
So it's completely uniquely just a video game world.
Correct.
Fuck me. What color is the main protagonist's shirt?
Green. Which probably doesn't narrow it down at all.
I'm a thinking.
You're on question number 8, by the way.
I know, I got plenty. I'm good.
I'm just letting them know, because if they're not watching, they're listening.
is there any other like side characters in the game, and if so, what are they?
There are. Are you talking about like?
Like, does he have a sidekick or like a love interest or like? Okay, what is the sidekick? Like boy, man, girl, dog.
There are 2 females and a male.
So 4
total that you run into.
But they're on your side.
Yes. As this puts it, they are your teammates. Question number 9.
Is it camo that you're wearing the top? Is it the green top? Is it camo?
Yes. You know, it's that era where everything was green and brown.
Is the game SOCOM?
No.
SOCOM? That's not?
No.
Shit.
Question number 11. I didn't even know that was released on PS2.
I think one of them was.
I've never played SOCOM.
I feel like it was an early release. Damn it. See, this is hard because it's not a series. It's a standalone game, so it obviously didn't do very well, whatever it was.
You think it didn't do very well. I don't know how it did, to be honest. I haven't looked up review scores.
Or if they've never...
If they've made a good... It's a good assumption if they never...
Yeah, if they've never made a sequel to it, then it's probably didn't do great. 4-player, right?
There's 4 characters, yes.
Is it a side-scrolling game?
Question number 12.
Is it an FPS game?
Yes. Again, not narrowing it down because you're right in the heart of all those FPSs. You're on number 13.
Fucking hell. This is FPS game.
On PS2, which is probably the largest library to ever exist as well.
PS2, giant library. It's not based off a franchise, you're sure?
I'm 100% sure it's not based off a franchise.
God damn it. Is there like a boss character, and if so, can you describe what they wear?
There is a boss for each level.
Okay.
So, do you want me to describe all of them?
No, just like the big one. Is there a big boss? Like an ultimate antagonist? It has to be, right?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
PS2.
So, without giving away too much, do you want physical description or do you want his role description?
His what?
Like who he is, or do you want what he looks like?
What he looks like.
Okay, I gotta look that up then, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Because there's so many bosses in this game that it's like...
Oh, this is a tough one, man. Have I played it for sure? Like, do you know?
I know you've played it because you've told me.
Gosh, because I'm going through like in my head. I'm like, it's not Splinter Cell, it's not Metal Gear, it's not SOCOM, and those are like the instant ones that come to mind. As far as even then, it's 4-player FPS, but it's third person. It's not franchise based, so it's not any of the stuff I have on my shelf. And it's PS2. So it can't be like a Just Cause game. It can't be.
Yeah, he's a militant military man. He's a colonel.
The boss?
The big boss is a colonel.
Great.
I know. I made it as vague as I could. Doing real good.
Shit question.
You're number 15.
All right. I had one I was going to ask, and then I forgot about it when I was thinking about the boss stuff. Let's see.
Oh, I never noticed that before.
Let's see. Where is it set? The game.
Like, are we talking physical location? Are we talking time frame?
Yeah, physical location.
Let me double check the name here, because I want to say Earth, but it might be like a.
You gotta do better than Earth.
Might be a made up Earth.
you gotta give me a city name. It's
That's what I'm saying. It might be a made up.
It's the planet we live on. Does that help?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It does not tell me. Doesn't
tell you where it's set.
No.
Same. without using a question, since you can't answer it.
Yeah.
Time period then.
Future.
Future.
It's a future one. So that's why I'm like, I want to say it looks like Earth,
Welcome to Earth.
but it's also I want to say it's like a replication of Earth.
Just like a future Earth.
Yeah. So it may not actually be Earth, but if it looks and feels like Earth. Because I don't see anywhere where it tells me.
Have you played it?
No.
That wasn't a question. I just okay.
And when? Oh, I can answer when. It's 2037 is when it's set. So not that far future right now. It's future when it came out.
Yeah, that's not really future at all, is it?
So that gives you time frame.
This game.
But it doesn't tell me where. I love that. It's like it's just set here.
Can I ask the name of the developer?
You can.
What's the name of the developer?
EA Arts Square.
EA Arts.
Electronic Arts Square.
Square.
Yeah. I don't know what the Square. I've never heard of Electronic Arts Square.
It was an old.
Yeah. Well, this is an old game. It's PS2.
Yeah. I remember Electronic Arts Square.
I remember EA Big. That's what I remember.
Sorry,
You're on
I know
17.
this is dead air, and
You're
like
on
you guys are
17.
just like, come on, Tom, hurry the fuck up. I'm just like, I'm trying to think of a good question. I've got 3 questions left.
And you got 3 questions.
So let's summarize this point. It is a third-person
shooter.
Third-person shooter. There's 4 people on your team.
Male protagonist.
2 males and a female are your other guys. It's a male protagonist that wears camo.
Yep. The
Your
boss is
big
a
boss
colonel.
is a colonel, so it's all army.
It's military based.
It's not SOCOM though.
No.
It's also not like anything like a Metal Gear or Splinter Cell because they have multiple entries in the series.
Set in 2037.
Set in 2037.
Published or developed by EA Square.
Is the art style Western or
It's definitely Western.
okay. I can't see of one that is just a game and is not a franchise. Everything I'm thinking of comes from like somewhere. It may be that you don't know it comes from somewhere.
No, it does not come from somewhere.
You sure?
I'm 99% sure. If it did come from somewhere, it's real sad that this came from somewhere. Oh. Question 18.
Yeah, I know. It's very Western. Are there collectibles in the game, and if there are, what are they?
Just ammo.
Just picking up ammo.
Yeah, there's no other collectibles that I'm aware of. Yeah, 2 more.
I know. So it can't be Medal of Honor because there's a bunch of those. It can't, and that's first person anyway. Can't be any Call of Duties or whatever because they're first person. Like literally, my brain just keeps saying it's SOCOM. He's lying. It's is it set in Vietnam?
No, because it's set in the future.
Oh yeah.
Last question.
That was a wasted question, wasn't it? Oh fucking hell. Are you only shooting humans?
Yeah.
There's no aliens or nothing.
Nope.
Monsters, nothing. Well,
you're shooting terrorists.
Terrorists. I can honestly say you stumped me. I have no idea.
You want to give a guess at least? Then I'll give you a hint after you give a guess.
SOCOM?
No. So, two hints. 1, launch title for PS2. And 2, we've played this on the channel.
Oh, is it that fucking what is it, like Agent X or something? X Squad?
It's X Squad.
You asshole. You fucking asshole. I thought about that. I thought about it. It was like, no, he wouldn't do X Squad.
Have you played it? No? I've watched. Oh, no, I did play it technically, didn't I?
Yeah, we both played it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
So I legitimately thought about that. But I was like, no.
X Squad or X-Fire/Crossfire in Japan is a PS2 launch title developed by Electronic Arts Squared and published by EA Games. It was released on August 3rd, 2000 in Japan, October 26, 2000 in the US, and December 8th, 2000 in Europe. In this game, you only play as Ash, the leader of X Squad, along with your teammates Maya, Melinda, and Judd. Set in 2037, W Squad has been defeated. Dr. Bianca Noble has been kidnapped and her experiment project Medusa has been stolen. Ash is the leader of the X Squad and the main protagonist. He has many weapons and much equipment. Insistent on rescuing Dr. Noble and Colonel Clifford and retrieving Project Medusa of his team.
W Squad got murdered, so they brought in the X Squad. Does that mean that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,
yes,
all those guys got murdered as well until they got all the way to X?
So Colonel Clifford is the boss of the soldiers since 2029. He was Dr. Noble's guardian, and for a while, but later became the main antagonist as he betrayed the X Squad, so he became stronger and a powerful soldier.
You don't betray the X.
I never realized it went Lieutenant Corporal or Lieutenant Captain, Private Corporal, or Colonel.
I feel like private's lower than those.
Yeah, some of the questions this is literally it's like a page of Wikipedia.
Bad,
it's
like all right, so X Squad, if you don't know what it is, there is, believe it or not, footage on our channel. We had an episode of our show called Shitty Game Contest where we went.
The only reason I thought of that is because we brought that up the other day.
We went to the local V-Stock, which is like they have games for every console that we own, and our competition was to see who could pick the shittiest game for the other person to play for under $10. So
I got the Bible game. You got X Squad.
You got the Bible game, thinking it was going to be shit, and it turned out to be awesome.
I wouldn't say awesome. It just was.
It was alright.
Wasn't bad.
It was fun. And then I got X Squad because it just looked like the most generic game I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, and we're actually planning on maybe doing another shitty game competition for you guys at some point. It's a lot of fun to do, so I'm totally down for that.
I just felt like because of my brain. So when I picked the game last night, because I was like, what's it? Because it's hard for me to pick. As you know, you got to pick a game that you will know, but not too obvious that you got it. So that's where I was like, okay.
You did good.
I was like, he played X Squad. He doesn't have an excuse to not know about it.
That's true.
And I was kind of surprised you didn't. There was a question I thought you were going to ask. Oh, did we play it on the channel? I think is going to become a standard question now for those.
I think you're right.
Have we played it on the channel? Have we talked about it on the show? So.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Well, good game. Name that game.
Woo.
Over. I lost. Sorry, guys. Did you win? Let us know. Probably not. I fucking doubt it, to be honest. If I didn't know that one and I've played it, then you.
I would love to know how many copies of X Squad has been sold. We were one. Well, I guess we were used.
Yeah, that's true.
So
really bad game. Don't play it at all.
What's your tale for today, Tom?
My tale is waggling.
Is it the top 10 Peter whatever what'd you have the other day? Peter Gabriel songs on your
top 10 Peter Gabriel songs? No. No. So I'm feeling a lot more relaxed today. I'm feeling nice and evened out. It's been a stressful week, so what I thought I'd like to do is take a moment to kick back and think about the channel and what it means to me, and specifically go over some viewer comments, because obviously we've had an upswing lately, a really nice upswing, especially with Codename and a lot of our review content. And we're both kind of in the habit now of kind of knowing what to do every week, which is something we never usually used to have much of a handle on. We're both still trying to create more interesting content in terms of we have show ideas that are things that we just haven't put together yet because they take a certain amount of time.
By the way, I recorded the first episode of Playing Blind, and it is awful, so I'm probably gonna have to redo it. It's
fair enough.
It's real bad.
I thought it might end up bad.
Yeah, but, I had a feeling once halfway through I was like, nobody wants to watch me jump off a cliff 30 times.
Yeah. So this is one of the ideas we had, was that for accessibility reasons we were gonna have Keegan play games blind and all kinds
I'd be blindfolded.
of things like that. But yeah, so what I thought we'd do is what I would do is take a minute and take stock and kind of settle down and just discuss the channel as a whole with you, because we had a nice bonding night last night. We went to that indie game thing where we got to give brutal feedback to local developers, and we had a really good time there. And while we were there, literally while we were waiting to go in, I got a message from Jeff Fong from League of War VR Arena team, and it was a question that I'd asked him. He'd sent me what'll happen a lot of times when you get a key or something for a game is that they would just follow up with you shortly after
and say, hey,
what did you do with it? And we already had the video up on the channel. I just forgot to email him, so I was like, oh shit, sorry, here's the link. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what, one thing we always discuss as a channel is trying to get more keys so we can give them away, because obviously we want you guys to get to experience some of the things that we get to experience, and it's good for the developer, it's good for us.
And there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you guys don't see, whether We try to get keys, doesn't always happen because we're small fish in the sea. We reach out to people for certain opportunities, doesn't go through, but when they do go through, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean, we work our asses off. Like I know that. Like I hate tooting our own horn. I'm not a horn tooter, I guess. But it's just like, you know, some like the other day, like someone posted in r/PSVR and basically said, you know, what's some good PSVR YouTube channels? And I hated the fact that I had to post our channel in there because I want someone to like post it in there and be like, oh, these Codename Morpheus guys are pretty good, or these level 2 gamers are pretty good. But I actually felt like, you know what, we fucking put enough time and effort into what we do that I'm just going to say us. And I felt weird doing it, but we got a lot of nice responses from that, and we have this kind of upswing of engagement. And alongside getting these codes that we could give away for Codename Morpheus this week, we also got another email from a different company. I want to say it's Voxel is the name. You may have heard that name because they were at Paris Games Week, and they actually had one of the star indie games of the show on stage on Sony's conference called The Gardens Between, which you may remember from
the time stopping
conference. And they messaged, and I think if I can find the email, I thought it was hilarious. I won't obviously give away any like details, but I thought it was really funny the way that they kind of put it. So it says, hi Tom, sorry for the late reply. We're just catching up on emails now, and there's like a winky tongue face like that one.
Just like that.
Oops. I've CC'd our PR team. Please meet blah, 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 blah. As you can judge by our tardiness, we really need help in organizing press coverage as we're pretty maxed out building the game. They'll take it from here. Regards, the person that sent it to me. And I just thought that was amazing. I thought that was like, okay, you got a game here that was like Sony put up on stage and said, hey, this is coming to our system. It's going to be awesome. You guys should check it out. And us, a tiny little company, you know, like I just sent out emails the same day to pretty much every developer that we thought looked interesting at that show, and just now we get it back, and like a company that was showcased on that event still doesn't know how to deal with the press and how to get their game mentioned outside of that. So I thought, you know, I felt really good, and I felt like what we were doing was important because we're literally at a local event, helping local developers, giving out our card, telling them we can help them, or that we will showcase their things if they want us to, for the indie side of things. At the same time, we have these gigantic
that were just on stage
games that were
on
just
live stream,
like massive conferences that we're getting stuff from, and more importantly, over all that stuff, because that's nice, that feels nice, that makes us feel good. But over that stuff, we have had so many excellent comments lately and engagement on the channel, which is what we've always asked for, and you guys have been delivering in spades. So I wanted to talk about that.
Before we get into that, I'm going to go over some lifetime stats.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we started January 31st, 2015 is when we started the channel. First upload was February 5th, 2015. In that time, so recording is November, or stats are from November 12th that I have. They haven't refreshed them yet. Watch minutes, 442,116 minutes watched on our channel. Views, 112,318. Likes, 3,897. Dislikes, 198. I love that we've gotten more dislikes the more we go along, because more people are seeing it.
It's a good kill death ratio. I'll take that.
Comments, 41,222. Shares, 1,704. And then subscribers, 1,106, which actually is 1,108 as of when we're recording. Again, the stats haven't refreshed.
Yeah.
Most viewed video is The Bard's Tale gameplay. Number 2 is how to create a Hong Kong PSN account. Number 3 is our channel trailer that is now out of date. And number 4 is For Honor. And then number 5 is how to create a Japanese account.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's quite diverse. I love that, like, also Finding Nemo Let's Play number 1 is up there. Like, I love that that's still hanging around.
It's been, you got Harley in there as well, yeah.
The stuff you guys will care about. So Tom mentioned earlier gender. This will give you guys an idea. 90% male, 10% female.
Nailed it. That's what I said.
And then locale is... Oop, I had it before. Go back. It is 59% US, 9.8% UK, 5.2% Canada, 5.1% Netherlands, and 2.8% Germany. And that's lifetime. Those obviously change.
Those stats look completely different for the podcast as well, by the way, which still shocks me. But yeah, so this segment is just a little bit about us, how far we've come, things we've done, and of course you and the nice, lovely comments that you've been leaving us lately. So I have those comments in front of me here, and I'm going to go through sort of a couple that I just thought were really nice and that were interesting. So one of the first ones I wanted to talk about was actually one that happened really recently, was that a guy named Bat Prince said during the Slayaway Camp 15-minute of gameplay video, if you use the killer code you get a special killer, and the little
Batman
thing. Yeah, so I don't know if that's true or not. I just thought that was a cool little thing. Like, we don't get that very often. But then we had this, like, during codename Morpheus 14, episode 14,
which is just the Skyrim episode, that so many people started engaging with us and with each other. It was just this beautiful sort of flowering of comments. NKO, shout out to that guy, started talking to us about Doom and like the locomotion and the full motion, and then also how no heroes allowed was interesting, that wasn't doing well. And then someone else came in with kind of like fucking Wikipedia numbers and stats, and you guys were talking together. But here's some of the really nice ones. So David Devine, first of all, thank you, David Devine. I don't know if you watch this show, I know you watch Codename, but David Devine, for the last couple of weeks, has always posted something really nice and polite on all of our Codename episodes. And the last comment that he posted just 4 days ago was, not sure what it was, but great vibe this week, guys. Thanks for the vid, which is just a very simple comment. But it's comments like that that keep us going and make us more encouraged to keep it up. And then what else have we got here? David Devine again, Fave Gaming Podcast. Keep it up, boys. Frank Romero, you're the best, bro. And then 5 thumbs up and shaka bras, which was awesome. I love the shaka bra. Peter Nij, where did the vape smoke go? Which is still one of my favorites. I'm like, I don't know. I guess I ran out of coils. I don't know what was going on there. People are confused.
Let's see here. What else we got?
I mean, I think the coolest one for me recently that I noticed was the Farpoint DLC hype. Like, we got the guy in the comments was like, "Oh, here's this thing," and we're like, "We haven't seen it anywhere." And then, like, maybe a day later, it's like, "Oh, Farpoint DLC." We're like, "Oh, shit."
Jake Fields, awesome segments, guys. Won yourself a sub. Thank you so much, Jake. That was really nice. Great review, as is Alan Waker for the Dragon's Dogma.
Eric E. Ritchie, did you see that one? This might be the greatest PSVR game ever made. This is definitely the most cringy awful trailer ever made.
Oh, it's for Eden
Hey,
Tomorrow.
Bill, they're making a game called Eden Tomorrow. Yeah. Has just about as much information with less borrowed Michael Bay soundtrack.
So there's that one here. Jerry Keane, really enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys get more popular. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you.
Geek Etiquette left a novel that one time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She listens. I'm gonna say like a lot of the fucking comments that
let's
about the Japanese.
Let's talk
thing.
about David Diaz.
Yeah,
David Diaz he's a friend of ours, so it's real weird because it's like, and I know you're listening, David, because you always fucking listen to us. It's real weird because like we know him, and it's cool because like I'll have conversations with him about stuff that we talked about on the show. Like today when I go home and play Destiny, I'm sure we'll talk about something that we talked about today. But then he'll get back to me in a week of like, oh, remember the thing you said on the show? And then he'll comment, and it's just like it's weird because we know him, but at the same time, like my buddy Bertrand, who I've been playing Destiny with recently, also now listens. He's about to go on a tour of Germany with his band, and he's excited to have the podcast on there to listen to when he's on the road. And it's real weird when people you know listen. It's even weirder when people you don't know listen and then interact.
Yeah.
Because the hardest thing is to get somebody put in. It's not a lot of effort, but it is an effort to make a comment.
Yeah. For sure.
And I don't do it very often.
I was amazed actually when you read the lifetime comments on there. There was like 47,000 or something. I'm like, fucking hell, like it doesn't feel like it.
Well, that includes live streams as well. Keep that in mind.
Oh, that's fair. I'm Hotep397. Sweet. I found a new legit PSVR review crew. You should add the PSVR tag if you can. Are you guys based in the US? Philly? ? That's your fucking hat.
Because of my Philly's
or
hat.
the UK? That's my voice. I have to look through this, but did you review Trackmania Turbo? And this is a guy trying to enter one of our competitions. But yeah, people always ask us about that, by the way, like why we don't have PSVR in our name. And that is because essentially we don't just do PSVR, and so it would feel weird to do that. So like Codename Morpheus is entirely its own thing. Indie Please Add Details is entirely its own thing, and the podcast is just like, that's us.
Yeah.
Like those two shows are our two focuses for the channel. We love bringing indie gems to light. We love talking to indie developers. It's just a passion of ours because we think they're the most creative people and that they are going to be the future of the gaming industry. And for an indie media group like me and Keegan, like we're it, man. We do this entire thing. Like, I mean, obviously we have like our art and stuff is done by Wheezy. The music's done by a friend of mine. Like all the sort of the logo based stuff is usually outsourced. But as far as like the recording, the editing, the mixing, the sound stuff, the uploading, the thumbnail making, all that crap is just me and Keegan. That's it. So yeah, so when we get comments like these, damn, you guys deserve views.
Here's
Great
another,
job, guys. Look
one.
forward to it weekly.
KF Beans, thank you for posting this with commentary talking about Invisible Hours, your gameplay. This has been one of the best gameplay videos I managed to find on Google so far. So he found us on Google. Like, he just stumbled upon us. Looking forward to seeing more of this excellent game from you since I don't have VR.
Yeah.
We should, like, do a series of, like, what do you want us to continue playing?
Yeah.
Because we could do more non-commentary gameplay stuff if you want us to keep going. It's just we do that kind of just to showcase, because the way I look at like the non-commentary stuff and the way I look at reviews is we're showing you what the game is. We don't want to show you the whole thing because we want you to experience for yourself. But if you do want us, we stopped doing Let's Plays a little while ago, but if you want us to do complete, well, I don't want to say complete playthroughs because I don't know if I can finish games, but if you want us to do more videos on a certain game, let us know and we'll gladly find more bits and pieces. Maybe we'll get David on board. He's working on a couple things again for us here.
Good.
So I don't know. He didn't tell me exactly. He just said he had some ideas. So I'm kind of, one of them is about the classes in ESO in MMOs, as I called out him on the podcast.
That's awesome.
A few weeks ago now.
It's so so I mean, I'll put the comments away for now, but that was just a couple that we've had relatively recently. These are things that have happened like recently. So we've had this kind of this really nice moment of feeling very connected to the independent developers and to the game creators, especially around these big conferences where we're just, you have to understand, like I said, we're two people, that's it, and we are pushing as hard as we can to bring you the best possible stuff.
I've got one more comment.
Go on.
It's my friend Sean Frost. There's no commentary. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, there's no commentary.
There's no commentary on Qualoon's Gate
That's
VR.
correct. It's no commentary.
The
secret was the no commentary in the title.
Yeah.
But no, it's I don't know, it's weird because like I think we finally have settled on the things we're best at in terms of indie and VR. I think the VR section inheritably does great every time because the PSVR fans are rabid fans. They want everything.
And we've also had the advantage of r/PSVR kind of getting a few pushes there.
Yeah,
we've yet to find somewhere for like indie that's similar. So if you guys have some place that you know of,
like an indie forum you recommend
yeah,
or something,
that we need to
we'd
be a
love
part
to
of.
have more presence and find a better place to grab like news and things like that, because r/PSVR is our news hub. I mean, we get it from other places.
Getting indie news is hard. I go to like 6
Yeah.
different websites every week, 7 different websites every week, or I'll be on Twitter and just as things. We both do it as things go along. We'll send things to each other all the time, but as stuff happens, I immediately add it to my notes, but can't forget that.
Yeah, same.
And then it comes time to record. I'm like, what did I save? Cool, got it.
But it's, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to stop and take stock and say, okay, so we went from like this. So this is again, I don't want to tell this whole story again, but like coming from a quick text to me coming over to your place, which is the first and only time, I believe, maybe the second.
We did two over there.
2 recordings there. Where we recorded Stranded Deep, and it was literally just the most like ghetto setup ever. We just had 2 microphones, no pop filters. We were recording audio from the speakers on the computer, which surprisingly didn't sound too bad. And,
I was surprised when I went back and listened.
Yeah, and we knew back then that we had something good and that it would evolve and become better. And through the iterations of things like Jordan joining the channel for a while, through getting the PSVR headset, which was paid for by our fans, back when we had way less subs.
We had 300.
We had 300 subs, and the Legion put together enough money for us to get a PSVR headset, which, I like to think that we've put that to good use. Hopefully you agree. And then going through those iterations, to things like going to these conferences, talking to celebrities that we would never have dreamed to have talked to.
I mean, I talked to Batman. I'm not a big Batman fan, but I know who Batman is.
Yeah, I talked to Constantine.
I think it's funny because he's like the Batman to me because I'm a cartoon guy. I mean, even for me, like one of the things I found really, really cool was not last year, but the year before. Well, technically last year, when I went to Indie PopCon 2015. When I met Wade, I met Bob, I met Ray, I met all these people, and like, yeah, and these are people like I still talk to Ray every so often, but like Thousand Faces, I met them at that convention, and we've now. It's funny, like, oh, you're from St. Louis, oh, you're from St. Louis, and then we just kind of kept this conversation going, and it's really interesting with them because I feel like, and I said it before when we were talking about the IGN stuff, but I feel like we've become friends with them, and like. There's obviously the work side of things. We're at a convention like, hey, do you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. But I think they do that because they respect us and we respect them. And it's not just a work related thing. It's
they're likable. We're likable. It works out.
Yes. So and then for me personally, meeting Wade was a big deal. Like that guy has 750,000 subscribers now or something like that. Something crazy. Maybe
really nice as well.
Yeah, when they all showed up at the panel. Like the panel to me, as you know, is probably
definitely
the highlight of the channel at this point because I had, as we've said many times, I had low expectations going into that thing. Nobody's going to show up. Fucking room was packed. And now next year I'm going to be like, yeah, the room's going to be packed and nobody's going to show up. That's what's going to happen. Let's assume we have a panel next year.
It's nice, I think, especially this time of year, we're coming up to Thanksgiving and everything, for us to look back and just kind of say that everything that we've gotten out of the channel so far has been because of you guys, because of your continued involvement, because of your views, because of your shares, because of your comments, and we are gonna keep moving. We're not people to give up. We're not gonna reach a point where we get fed up and like, why is no one watching our channel? Like, we're just gonna keep going and we're gonna keep making it better and better. Right now, with all the extra time we
have done the why is nobody watching our channel? Oh, we probably because we have too many things going on.
Well, we usually figure out what the problem is, but we don't do it to you or on Twitter.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where I think now we're super comfortable.
Yes,
we have a method down where basically the reason why the channel is mostly compromised now of just the 3 podcasts plus gameplay, no commentary gameplay, and reviews is because every week we need to play games.
How the hell did we do 3 podcasts and a Let's Play?
I don't know. But every week we have to have games to talk about for the podcast, so we play them. We have to record footage when we play them so that we can put that behind us in the podcast. So we may as well, do a review on it as well. Because, I mean, reviews for me started on movies. I don't know if you've seen any of the movie reviews we did, but
they didn't do very well, which is funny that the game ones are doing pretty well.
Didn't catch on, but the game ones,
I think it's because the audience is...
For sure.
That could be it.
But yeah, so the reviews are basically like an excuse to chop up the game footage and do something useful with it. So you have 3 podcasts, no commentary, gameplays, and reviews that are coming out on a weekly basis. And at this point, with the amount of time that I've been lucky to afford off, we've been able to keep a lot more up to date. We've been able to put out things like the demo disc stuff, and just.
I mean, I'll be doing Skyrim on Friday.
Yeah. So
today.
It'll
probably be going up.
That's true.
Probably go up Saturday.
Skyrim today, guys. Skyrim day.
It's gonna go up. It's gonna go up Saturday. Probably by the time I'm done recording and editing, it'll be up Saturday or Sunday.
But yeah, it's getting to that point where now we're pretty much a well-oiled machine at this part. Now it's just like, what can we add to it?
Well, I think it's funny because the simplest question we can get asked is, what is level 2?
Yeah.
And the easiest answer that we have right now, and the best way to describe it, is we do 3 weekly podcasts. We do one on indie games, we do one on VR, and we do one about us. And then we have supplemental content to go along with that, whether it's reviews, gameplay, streams, whatever it may be, trailers, all that kind of stuff. And that, simple is better on YouTube. It's easy to pitch yourself to somebody if you know who you are, and I feel like we know who we are, and we can say to you guys, this is who we are, versus I've seen plenty of YouTube channels, what are you? Well, I do Let's Plays, but I also do comedy skits, but I also do this, and I also do that, and I was like, what are you then? And I think I brought that to you a few times where I'm like...
Spreading yourself too
thin.
You
don't want to spread too thin. You want to get that niche, but you want to own that niche and be like, this is my niche. back off. Get your own niche.
But yeah, I mean, so
Or
I don't know.
niche.
I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I think that we've come so far. I think that I'm super. Well, I don't think. I know that I'm super grateful for every ounce of support we've gotten on the way. And now we're in this kind of this indie media place where we feel like we're being respected enough by enough developers.
That's the weird part to me.
That we are getting keys for things that we don't rightly deserve keys
I
for.
post- So you're friends with me. I tagged you in it last night too, as you know. But I posted after going to that indie dev thing. Like, we've gotten a lot of cool opportunities from Level 2, and to me, being able to play an early access game that's still in development. Granted, that technically was open to the public if you wanted to, but I wouldn't have known about it if I wasn't doing Level 2. Right. We wouldn't have gotten all these keys if it wasn't for Level. We wouldn't have given away any games if it wasn't for Level 2. Like, it's so weird because I've said this many times before. I have more pride in this because we had no connections from the get-go. First, when I did music stuff, I had my dad who was able to get me in the door. And if you start on the 6th floor versus the basement, it's a lot easier to get to the 10th floor.
We quite literally started in the basement. So
no, we started on the 2nd floor technically.
Technically.
Then
we went demoted to the basement.
Yeah, then went to the basement, and we're like, we got to start from the ground up.
So with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for your continued support.
Well, I guess
so
3rd
far.
floor technically.
I would like to point out, for those of you that are still listening, hi, it's been an hour and 20 minutes, you're the best, that we do have some special things coming up. One of which we're going to talk through logistics through in a little bit after the show's over. But
after I pee, of course.
After you pee. It's going to be another
I know they were concerned.
24-hour live stream for Able Gamers. And this time it's my turn. So I'm going to be staying up for 24 hours playing continuous video games. And Keegan is going to be with me because I have to force him to suffer with me.
That's what he thinks.
But he's allowed to sleep.
That's what he thinks.
He's my tech guy. So if, like, at 4 a.m. everything stops streaming, I can just kick him and be like, can you fix the stream real quick? And then, but we're going to have some friends over. We're going to have a good time. We're going to make a party out of it.
Raise awareness and
all
hopefully
going to
money.
be for a good cause. So that's something that you can look forward to.
We're still the #1 team, by the way, on Able Gamers outside of Markiplier, who did $100,000, which we're not catching him.
I'm going to get it. On the 5th and 6th, I'm going to get $100,000.
I don't think so.
That's my plan. But yeah, if you want to see an old guy try and stay awake, then that's a good time to tune in.
Also, Destiny 2 DLC is going to be that time, so I'm going to play that at some point.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you get off so I can play that. Like,
well,
mine.
I don't have it, so...
I know, I've got it on my account, though.
You have to struggle.
Oh.
You'd have to download the game. Ooh. But,
that'll be tricky.
Yeah,
I'll explain why after.
I don't know. I didn't really have, like, it's not like I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to do as a theme this week, but I just kind of wanted to take a second to say everything's great. Thank you so much for sticking with us through everything. Thank you so much for the comments. Please keep engaging us. Please keep talking to us. If you have questions and the nature, I mean, this podcast was also always kind of supposed to be a meta podcast for how to be a YouTuber. So, you know, the panel that we did was how to overcome the struggles of a small YouTuber, and we're still here for those people that want to do that, for those people that have smaller channels, that have questions, that want to know, how did you get your fancy background, how do you get the moving images behind you, how did you get a press pass for this, that, or the other, or get a game key for this, that, or the other. We're happy to answer all of those questions, and just general questions about us or what we do, or our likes, dislikes, things like that. So I made it sound like a dating video, but I
like long walks on the beach.
But yeah,
I'm a Pug fan.
That was all I wanted to talk about. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that whole thing? Or?
I feel like I've already added my piece.
Okay, cool.
You always ask me, and I'm like, I don't like being put on the spot. I don't know.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's your week wrapped up podcast-wise from us. Hope you enjoyed Indie. Please add details on Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed Codename Morpheus on Thursday. And I hope you enjoyed the Level 2 podcast today. And we will be back next week, same time, same crazy channel. And of course, there's going to be a bunch of other stuff in between too, including, by the way, tomorrow I have a review and a gameplay segment coming up from a game called Ace of Seafood, where you are a fish that has to
posted that
dominate the sea.
Our thing, the text between your wife and you.
I can't wait. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always,
welcome to the second level.
Bye.
I'm waving above the camera.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.